What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of KC Trucking 101. I'm your boy Kevin. I'll be your host. So I want to talk about one simple question. This is a trucking podcast. I'm a truck driver of 17 years. Is truck driving a good career in today's economy? And that's a very loaded question. Today, our economy is very wishy-washy, is very up and down. A whole lot of things going on around us. So this is something to dig into. And you know what? I have a lot of my opinions, but it goes down to each individual aspect of it. So I looked it up myself. I found a really good answer that I 100% agree with, and I want to read this with you, and I want to go over and give you my thoughts. Someone broke it down into pros and cons. I looked on Reddit. This guy Chris Gnarly, Gnarley, a couple years ago made a little breakdown. Talked about the pros: best paying trade for least amount of schooling and least amount of experience; freedom from micromanagement depending on company; endless job opportunities, may not always be greatest at all times, but at least you'll never be unemployed long if it comes down to it; and if you're OTR, meaning over the road, you can save a lot of money on not paying rent, gas, maintenance on your personal vehicle or utilities, depending on your situation. These are all true. I've been an instructor at a CDL school. It costs like between $3,000 to $7,000, depending on the speed of the course you want to do, how much personal training you want to get. Or actually, if you're at a company that has where you have a job already and they have trucks, you can possibly try to transition into that and they'll pay for it. Another way you can get your CDL paid for is through a grant or with your unemployment, your local unemployment. So you can look into that. If you want to become a trucker, you can become one for free if you happen to not have a job. And you can keep your pee clean. You got to keep your piss clean. Look, they're going to drug test. So just be ready for that. And while we're talking about that, there's going to be hair tests at a few companies. I would say JB Hunt, I think maybe Swift, but definitely Knight with a K, Knight Transportation, also hair tests. So it's hard to get around a hair test, guys. Just say clean up your act, cut your hair, and get in there. But also, this is easy to get into. You know how to drive, right? You're going to learn a few more things. You're going to learn how when you're reversing, you go the opposite direction with the trailer, blah, blah, blah. But this is very easy. The least amount of experience that you're ever going to need to start a new career. This is a whole career. So that's very true. Freedom from micromanagement, depending on the company. Very true. You can easily do 12 hours without taking a phone call. Endless job opportunities. This is true also. But, and all these have a but to it. It's a big but. I like big butts and I cannot lie. Okay? Endless job opportunities, but what kind of opportunities? Swift is always hiring. They're hiring real fast. They're going to fly you to the other side of the country so you don't walk out of their orientation and quit. And so that your first week or two, they're pretty much guaranteed to get some kind of work out of you to pay for that plane ticket. And they're going to pay you very little to start off. They're going to give you crappy equipment, and the equipment may spend more time broken down than working. You're not going to make very much money. But you will get this valuable experience. Knight, I'm going to say the same thing. JB Hunt, I'm going to say the same thing. People will combat and say Walmart is paying a lot of money to start. They're requiring experience. This is over the road, fully over the road, meaning you're gone probably 2 weeks at a time. And one of the things about that is, remember that video I just did talking about what kind of driver are you when I said that these companies need you? Of course, the answer is yes. If you're a sucker, if you'll do anything and everything they want. When I say that it depends, it's because you could get hired on and they'll say, oh, well, you're going to be out 5 days and you're back too. Oh, but you know what? There's that construction on I-95, so it's gonna hold us up. And you know what? We really got a hot order. We need you to pick up on the way back. Can we push that back? Can you? Yeah, I'm working my way to get you back. I'm gonna get you back, boss man. You end up being out 10 days, right? You end up taking your 34-hour reset at a truck stop in the middle of nowhere that doesn't even have decent food for you to eat. Stuff like that. So I'm giving some of the counterpoints because there's a whole list of cons. that go along with this as I'm going through the pros. But there is a huge asterisk next to every single thing that's positive about truck driving. Okay, so the least amount of experience, it's decent money. There's an asterisk to the decent amount of money. So let me pull it up actually here. Average income of a CDL truck driver in California. You're looking at $1,200, $12 to $1,300 a week, around $32 an hour. When it says average, it's looking at your hours. It's averaging overtime in with those hours. Most people are making about between $22 to $27 an hour flat, right? Then if they're getting overtime, think about it. If you're working 70 hours a week, 30 hours of that check is overtime. That's time and a half. So you're looking at kind of a ballooned paycheck for when you work your full 70, thinking that, man, I'm really killing it per hour. Not really, because your 8 hours is not being very highly compensated. So you're not even really happy about it until Thursday, Friday. That's when you're going to start making your money. Thursday pretty much going to be all overtime if you're working your 14s. So in California, the average is $1,300 a week, $32 an hour, and that sounds okay. I guess that sounds serviceable if you're coming from warehouse work, or you're coming from fast food, or I know a lot of guys that are coming straight out. I was a waiter, or I worked at Amazon making $15 an hour, and now I'm making this. So it's like, wow, this is great. When you move out your parents' house, it's not going to be all that great in the LA area, in these higher cost of living states. In Colorado, this is pretty much the national average also. That's going to be serviceable. You can live with that. But let's do the comparison. In California, my 2-bedroom apartment, which was in Inglewood, not LA proper, but kind of close enough to where it's high, but it's not the highest. Our 2-bedroom apartment was $2,300 a month. And it was nice, but it wasn't breaking anybody's neck. People weren't coming in and saying, wow, look at this place. It didn't have a lot of space. It was two bed, one bath. Maintenance wasn't the best. Cars getting broken to outside. Cars getting broken to in the gate. Shootings on the block. It's Inglewood, right? Let's go to Houston, the Houston area. I just went on the website for the Villages at Briar Forest. Now that's in Katy. That's a little bit of a commute from downtown Houston. So that would be in the morning. If you're catching rush hour traffic, it'll be about an hour to get in. But it depends on what shift you're going to be working. If you're a real truck driver, if you're local, you're going to be coming in before rush hour. So you probably, 35, 45 minutes to get into work from the Katy area. I grew up in Baytown, Texas, which is the same distance from downtown on the opposite side. And this is about the same over there. A good 2-bed, 2-bath, a little bit under, but around 1,000 square feet is starting at $1,200. All right. So if you're looking at $1,200 for rent in the Houston area, and you're looking at $2,300 for rent in the LA area, and they both pay the same, it's a very different answer. So when we got to take all this with a grain of salt when we're talking about what's a good job, what's a good career, what's not, and also your definition of a career. A lot of people think of a career as it's a job I'm going to work until I retire. That's decent. I look at a career as what I'm going to do with my life. Do I want to do this with my life? And I think we really got to, as individuals, especially in the Black community, myself, but out here in America, we got to be starting small businesses. And a lot of new people with CDLs, they're talking about buying their own truck and making it a business. And that's going to be the smartest way to think about it. And probably you're going to want to have your mind set on buying at least 2 or 3 trucks. So you have the enterprising nature about you when you're going about this. So when you go to these companies, you take your L's because you're working towards something bigger. Not just I own my own truck and now all the liabilities on me, but like I'm going to own my own truck. I'm going to get down to this amount of debt, and then I'm going to jump the broom and buy that second truck, and I'm hiring somebody to run that first truck. the entire first year while I'm getting my experience and I'm paying this debt down, I'm making relationships with different companies and finding brokers and whatnot. Maybe finding routers that do this as a side hustle or something like that that can kind of get you going as you're paying for your authority and X, Y, and Z. So be thinking about it like that. Truck driving proper for a company, I don't think it's the best career. I don't think of it as a good career. I think of it as kind of, it's work. It's a job. And if you don't mind working a job, a lot of us don't mind working jobs. I'm a simple guy. Until I was like maybe almost 40, I really didn't mind working a job and just going, I could just turn off my mind and go clock in. That's cool. But at some point, if you start thinking big, truck driving's not really where it's at. Owning a trucking company is where it's at. And it's not super duper crazy. You don't need $1 million. Just get your credit up. So we're looking at the cost of living. It's double for rent in LA as it is in Houston, and I'm making the same pay. So I'm going to ZipRecruiter. They're saying $31 an hour in the Houston area, $32 an hour in the LA area, and that's average. So that's including overtime and regular hourly pay. So move to a place with lower cost of living, and search for it like that. Being a truck driver in LA sucks. The traffic is bad. If you think Houston traffic's bad, you think Colorado traffic's bad, come to LA with that, and you're gonna have your mind blown. Traffic is bad. It's close to New York traffic. I haven't really been to New York, but I've seen enough videos where I'm like, yeah, they got it worse than us in LA, but I haven't really dealt with that. So, the next thing, let's go to the cons. I want to go to the cons just so I can talk about it in a fully, and I'm going to post this on the screen as well. You have absolutely no social life, even if you work locally, because you will always be burnt out by the end of the day. Facts on facts. Now, the people that are coming into truck driving are kind of loners in the first place. When you think of truck driving, you don't think of being around a ton of people. You think of being alone. So you probably kind of already lean that way in the first place. So that might not be the biggest detractor to you. But when we say absolutely no social life, if you're making that bread you want to make, you're working 70 hours a week. All right. And maybe more if it's a possibility that someone else can drive, if they can send you some help. But if not, if you're over the road, no social life. You're gone. You're going to be in Wisconsin during your 34-hour reset or your weekend. You're not going to be coming home that often. And honestly, if you're money motivated, you're not going to want to come home. You're going to want to keep on rolling and stack those chips up. So this is really for a young man. How you can turn that negative to a positive is think about it like this. I'm gonna put my nose to the grindstone for a year, 2 years, pay off all my credit cards, pay off that car. I'm not gonna pay rent, move all my stuff to my mom's house. I'm gonna just stay in this truck, type stuff. If you do that, get your credit up, everything up. Now in a year you can start reevaluating and turn this negative into a positive. It's next to impossible to eat healthy or exercise. This is true. Truck stops have tons of unhealthy food. They're starting to put fruits and vegetables in there, but they're probably, they're not necessarily going to be organic. So who knows what's in them? But also, it's not going to be fresh. It's an unhealthy lifestyle to be sitting in a vehicle all day. So it's hard to get enough movement to just be healthy for your back and your legs. A lot of older truck drivers have circulation issues. You see them with swollen legs, limping. Bad backs. I have 4 bulging discs myself. Trust me, it's hard on you. Nowadays we're starting to see younger people. So see a lot of women driving nowadays, especially compared to say 15 years ago. But a lot of women are coming into the game. So the healthier aspect of, because women tend to make smart decisions when they break into things. A lot of women are exercising. They're making things more ergonomic, and a lot of dudes are catching on. I'm seeing young dudes at truck stops pulling their weights out, and they're on the side of their truck. First thing in the morning, they're doing push-ups and doing some curls and stretching and stuff like that, doing lunges and burpees and stuff outside their truck. Here's the big caveat to that: a lot of nasty truck drivers are peeing outside. Okay. So you're not going to want to do burpees and push-ups and sit-ups and lunges out there in a walking bathroom. That parking lot might smell like pee, especially if it rains. It could be localized to the back, and then it rains, and it smells like pee all the way up to the front door. Assuming someone didn't just pour a pee bottle right outside their door, because some of these truck drivers are complete filthy animals. Which this is perfect for them. So I don't have a way to turn that negative into a positive. I'm just saying it's getting a little bit better, and I think with security cameras and stuff like that, it can probably be better. You can find some good truck stops. You can't smoke weed comfortably, at least. This is facts. Since I first started driving, I knew lots of people that would keep a little canister of fake pee on them, just in case they caught on random and stuff like that. And I ain't gonna front. I've risked my career a few times when I was young. But you know what? I popped these kids out, and at one point, I just had to get serious. This is. Even if it's not your career, because like myself, for the longest time, I refused to call myself a truck driver. I would say I drive trucks. I'm not a truck driver, because I don't want to have a 15-minute conversation about lug nut covers. I don't want to talk about that one truck stop off in Nowheresville, Kansas. I don't. That's not my lifestyle. I'm be local. I'm just trying to go home every day. I'm trying to bang out my assignment and get out of there, and just make enough money to pay my bills. But at some point, you're just going to have to look in the mirror, bro. This is my life. You know what I mean? And I'm going to take it seriously. I'm going to make the best of what I have. So be careful. Don't go rolling the dice with your CDL. It's not worth it just for a buzz. And don't drink in the truck either, guys. Walking out with a paper bag and going to your truck, it's not... Everyone knows what's up. Trust me. Look it up on YouTube. Plenty of people are getting busted like that. You will never be able to plan anything or attend any events / hobbies you enjoy. True, kind of. If you're a loner, which trucking does attract loners, there wasn't too many that you wanted to go do in the first place. But mostly, I think we should look at trucking as a phase. Look, guys, we have self-driving vehicles coming. I'm saying it's going to be about 5-10 more years before it's really replacing jobs like that out here. But I saw some self-driving trucks running from Dallas to Houston down 45 years ago. So it's coming. So honestly, I say look at this as a phase. Look at this as a business opportunity. Look at this as a way to grow your portfolio. This way you can own a company. You can start an asset. That truck can be an asset. Good thing about an asset, you can sell that asset later. You can build a business and you can sell that business even. You can, everything doesn't have to be over the road freight. You can look into dump truck. You can look into dirt and sand. You can look into hauling water or oil or fuel and whatnot. These can be highly lucrative for a short period of time. And you can get a step away from it. Learn a skill while you're doing it. You will always be overworked. Oh, wait. I skipped one. Mostly local. Truck drivers do not have to be paid time and a half or double time for overtime, regardless of how many hours you work. This is facts. Most of these places are not offering time and a half for overtime for truck drivers. Unless you're doing hand offloading. Now, I've done work at Cisco, US Foods, Pepsi, working, unloading the truck by hand. I'm a big guy, and I've always done kind of physical work. If you're at one of those places, they'll probably pay you time and a half. If it's union, it might be time and a half after 8, and after 12 hours, it's double time. There's a big asterisk on the union thing. It may get you paid a little bit better, but those unions ain't going to protect you like that. Don't be getting your hopes up thinking, oh, well, it's Teamsters. But yeah, Teamsters, all union houses ain't the same. So you go to Teamsters over here, they'll be looking out for you and doing well. Go to the Teamsters over there, and it's almost worse because they drive division in between you to try to union bust. So that's a whole other video. So you're not looking at overtime and double time guaranteed, no matter how many hours you work. You will always be overworked. This is true. You are going to be young, and you're going to say, I got this, dog. And it's going to add up and accumulate and take its toll on you and make you prematurely old. You're going to be in your 30s with the back of a 40 or 50-year-old man. You're going to be in your 50s with heart conditions and organ issues and blood vessel issues, circulation issues. this takes a toll on you. That's why I say look at this as a phase. Look at this as a tool, as a resource. Don't look at this as an end all be all. Now, if you're fresh out the pen and this is one of the best choices that you have, okay, cool. You can sit down on this because it's harder to get into these higher tax bracket industries with a record, but at least go into the business aspect of it and be an entrepreneur with it. So start off, get your company experience, and then start your own. But you will always be overworked, and when you get older, you realize you were being overworked the entire time, and you'll see the toll it took on you. Myself, I did a lot of very little sleep, talking about 3-4 hours of sleep for years at a time. In many cases, I was having to work second jobs. It took a toll on my heart. I officially have heart conditions. Okay. Companies constantly take advantage of you. This is so facts. It's not specific just to truck driving. Honestly, the entire American economy. I have a friend that's from Iran, and he's very peculiar. I love this guy, but he goes, everything in America is scam. Facts. Everything here is a scam. Capitalism has turned all these companies, all these ways that we could take care of our family, into a way to destroy our family. If you want to make enough money without having basically connections, because I know plenty of broke people with college degrees too, don't get it twisted. But if you don't have a degree and connections and a great job in a lucrative industry, then you're going to have to work way too much to make enough for your family to be comfortable. And by doing that, you can't really be there with your family. So it breaks your family apart. All right. I've literally gone off of work early and gone home, and my toddler son opened the door when I came home and said, "Daddy, what are you doing here?" You know what I mean? He's accustomed to me not being there. And when I come there, he wasn't even just surprised and happy. He was just like, "Wait, what?" You know, like shocked and appalled. It's unfortunate. You know, it causes problems. I think my kids are used to me not being around. No matter how hard I fight to be around them. And that's a sad state of affairs. This is the life of a truck driver. Here's another thing. Relationships. Let's talk about getting cheated on. All right. Let's keep it a million with you. I've probably been cheated on a few times. You know, and you get put into peculiar situations when you spend more time with other people and just away from your significant other. That, you know, you may break down, of course, because you're a man also, but also wives get lonely, partners get lonely. If you're not there, you know, not just wives, but any partner gets lonely if you're not there for 70, 80 hours a week. There's the commute also. And God forbid you go hang out, do anything without your spouse. So, boom. Now, one of the, how you can turn that negative into a positive, bring your spouse on the road with you if you're over the road. If you're local, it's not so much. You can't really do that. But maybe they can come and visit you at certain spots on your route. I would highly suggest that if you're married, if you're just breaking into trucking, have your significant other come meet you for lunch regularly, once or twice a week, so that people that see you regularly still see that you're happy. And when you're at these jobs, talk about your spouse, talk about your significant other. So it's not just to keep on seeding these peculiar situations, because, you know, life happens, bro. I'm on my second marriage, so like, trust me, life happens. It is the final point that Mr. Charles Gnarly made on here. It is the most lonely job in human history, and you will suffer mental health issues over time. Facts. Now, it all depends. Everything depends, because everyone's an individual. You know, how strong is your mind? You know, I was in solitary confinement for 7 years straight, dog. I just did push-ups and read the Bible. Okay, cool. That's you, right? But most people, it kind of breaks you to be lonely. One of the big things that killed me in my first marriage was I started working those hours. I'm gone. I'm away from anyone that knows me or cares about me. And couldn't catch people on the phone. A lot of times it'd be with no signal. No one picked up, or if I didn't have signal, and dude, we're talking about 13, 14, 15, 16-hour days. Dude, I mean, just like mind-breaking loneliness. And I'm kind of a loner. And by the time I get lonely, it's tough, you know, and it puts you in a compromising situation. Your character becomes compromised at some point. So you start acting outside of yourself. So keep all that in mind. You always have to keep making the balance of it. Is it Is the money worth, the sacrifice? So with that being said, as soon as you get in there, you settle in where you're going to be at, get comfortable, learn your job, do well at your job, show them that you're one of those ones that they can depend on. Hopefully without compromising yourself too much. Don't work for free. Like I talked about in the last video, don't come in and do stuff off the clock and stay after and do stuff off the clock. Don't do too much of that. Also, don't allow dispatch to take advantage of you too much. Do a favor here and there, but don't expect it to be repaid. And learn the employee handbook. Learn what the rules are. Don't just sign it and move on. Learn what's allowed for you to do. And it can be a good career if you find the right company. Another question is, how big is the company that you work at? If it's too small of a company, you're going to be so needed and so important that there's no room for error. If the company is too big, it could be you're so unneeded they could chop your head off for anything. So there's a lot to balance out with it, but in general, I think it's a good job. It's a good phase. It's a good move. Good career. I don't think so. People I deal with, they're usually thinking about long-term future things, and you got to be thinking bigger than truck driving. Think about owning and possibly selling a truck driving company. Think about logistics. This is you, Rich Dad Poor Dad. You take a job to learn about the industry so you can learn how to make money in that industry. Driving the truck is a worker position, and I like to be a boss. All right. So I just want to watch YouTube. I want to be a YouTube content creator. I want my own channel. If you're picking up what I'm putting down. But that's basically all I have to say on it. Thanks to Charles Gnarly. That was a 2-year-old Reddit post that he put on there. But it's an interesting question, and I have a lot of friends that are truck drivers. My older brother's a truck driver for 6-7 more years than I am, and we have a lot of stuff to talk about. Companies to avoid, companies to go to, different things to watch out for once you get into any company. So hey guys, like, comment, and subscribe. Send me your suggestions for some episodes that you want to hear me talk about. Keep in mind, like I said, I've lived in Houston, the Houston area. I've lived in the Denver area in Colorado, and I live now in the LA area around California. So ask me questions, and maybe I'll make a video about it. I have a lot of episode ideas, but sometimes it's better to just see what the viewers want to see. So thank you for tuning in with me, and holler at y'all boys later. All right, see ya.